guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the 7-inch Exhibit Series RGB headlights with the Chasing Halo black housing and clear lens, fitting all 1997 through 2018 TJ and JK Wranglers. If bold is what you're looking for when it comes to customizing your JK or your TJ, these headlights will do just that, allowing you to add a colorful twist to your lighting while also improving your front end visibility tenfold. This is a fantastic option for many reasons, whether your factory headlights are not in good condition anymore, the lens is fogged or cracked, compromising your lighting performance, or you simply just don't like the look and want a replacement that will make your Jeep stand out no matter where you take it. This will feature a traditional aftermarket LED design, which is very sleek with the large projector lenses and a black housing, which will add a darker appearance to the lighting and really make it pop. Speaking of the LEDs, you will get a bright white LED for the high and the low beam, and paired with the projector lenses, they'll offer a substantial improvement compared to the underpowered factory headlights, allowing you to see better and stay safer when driving at night. The star of the show here is the Halo, though, with its 16 million, literally 16 million RGB options, which is, as you probably guessed it, a lot. This has preset and custom color effects, chasing effects, patterns, which is something that you don't see in every set of RGB lights, speed and music settings, and more, with either the Bluetooth app on your Android or Apple smartphone or the remote, making it very easy and giving you options for your setup. The lights will be well built with a die-cast aluminum housing with rear fins for really good heat dispersion, especially with how much is going on the inside of these headlights, and a very clear polycarbonate lens on the front that is impact resistant, so whether debris from the road or off-road hits these, they'll be able to take a little bit of abuse. With the durability of the materials, in addition to the weather-tight seal, these will also be IP67 rated to resist any dust or water getting into the light and potentially fogging up the lens or harming the LEDs inside. The LEDs will be a high output Cree LED with a 6000K bright white color temperature for a clean and modern appearance as far as the driving lights are concerned. And of course, the other LEDs on the outside will have that RGB capability, but all of it is going to create a very clean appearance, and because of the efficiency, will also have roughly a 50,000 hour lifespan. The kit will also come with an LED ballast and a canvas wired to avoid any hyperflashing, flickering, or any other issues, so you can easily switch from a halogen to a full LED setup. You'll get a full wiring harness here. You're going to have to do a little bit of wiring, but it's not that intimidating, and you'll also get an H4 to H13 connector for you TJ owners. These cost roughly $300, which is pretty average for a set of high-performance headlights. Compared to others available in the category, these are going to have 16 million options when it comes to colors, and will be both an app and a remote controlled system, which is more than what most RGB headlights bring to the table. Design, though, does come down to personal preference, but the set speaks for itself with the easy-to-achieve uniqueness, if that's something that you're looking for when it comes to lighting on your build. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Again, you're going to have to do a little bit of wiring, but it's nothing too technical, and it should only take you about 2 hours to get these wired up and mounted in. At this point, though, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your JK or your TJ at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a ratchet, a 10mm socket, a T15 Torx bit, a trim panel removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of regular pliers, a pair of side cutters, a test light, and the supplied T-taps, along with you'll have to source some double-sided tape. Hi everyone, today we're installing a set of headlights on our Wrangler, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock headlights.
So this is a relatively easy install since there's only a few screws that hold these headlights in. However, we do need to remove our stock grille, so we're going to pop our hood open so we can access the plastic retainers that hold that in. So you're going to have 6 of these plastic retainers across the top of your grille. They're really easy to remove. We're going to use a flathead screwdriver to pop up the center and pull the whole thing out. So the top of the grill is free, however, the bottom of the grill is held in with a few metal clips. The way we're gonna remove that, we're just gonna tug out on that and that whole thing will disconnect. After we do that, we're gonna pull this grill away and we'll disconnect our lights. So we're gonna turn these till they unlock. Let those hang there. Do the same thing for the other side. Just turn these till they unlock and we'll pull this grill away. So the next step, we're gonna remove the 4 small screws that hold this chrome ring in here, which is holding our light in. We're gonna use a T15 Torx to remove those. One thing you wanna make sure you do is keep a hand on it while you're removing these screws because it will just fall out on you. So to unplug these, we're gonna press back on this red locking tab. Once that's all the way up, we can press down on our release and unplug our light.
Now, first thing we do before we install our lights is we're going to have to run our wiring harness and control box for the RGB lights. Now, you can put this anywhere you want to. You'll have to source some 3M double-sided tape in order to put on the back side to attach it. And you can attach it wherever you want, on the side of the fender here, on this bracket, or even down in here next to the body mount. We're not going to attach ours because we're not going to be leaving this on our Jeep. So we're just going to tuck it in here for right now. And then we're going to run the 2 black wires for the lights themselves. These will screw into the back of the lights. So we're just going to run this into back here where the actual headlight plugs into. And then we'll run the other side down in front of the radiator over for the driver's side. So we'll stick this wire here in through the back. And then we'll just, for right now, we'll just set the driver's side like so. Now we've got another black wire and a red wire for the power for the RGB control box. What we're going to do is we're going to tap into the fuse box with the red wire, and then we'll run the black wire to a ground. So we'll just feed that up as well, back behind the headlight. Up into the engine bay. We're just going to run ours right up next to the power steering fluid reservoir. And then around the side. And just give yourself enough room to be able to plug this in. Next thing is we've got a yellow wire here that's going to tap into the turn signal for the passenger side, and the green wire is going to run over to the driver's side. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and set that over there with the controller wire. Now, next thing we can do is go ahead and install our headlights. And the next thing we're going to do is attach this adapter harness to the back of our light. As you can see, the plug is a little bit different than what your headlight harness is. So we'll plug this in, plug the blue side into the light, and then the other end of it will plug into our factory harness. Now here's also the other connector that we were talking about for the thicker black wire that we've got for the controller. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and plug this into our harness, and then we'll take the 2 ends of the black wires and put them together. We'll plug in our harness. Make sure it snaps into place. Push down on our red locking tab. And then we'll connect our two black wires here. Now they are oriented so that they will only go in one way. So go ahead and plug those in. And once you've got them in, go ahead and screw on the cap to hold them together. Now we can go ahead and just tuck that in and get our light installed. Place our retaining ring. And then using the original hardware, go ahead and secure that back to the vehicle. Now you can do the same procedure for the other side. Now the next thing we need to do is connect our yellow wire here that has the passenger side label on it up to our turn signal harness. And to do that, as you can see, we've already got our turn signal on, so we need to determine which of these three wires in this connector is for our turn signal. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and remove our actual light bulb by lifting up on the red locking tab here and then pressing down on the release lever and pulling it out. All right, so to determine which of these wires is our actual turn signal wire, we're going to use a test light here. So you're going to ground the one end of the test light, and then we're going to use our probe to probe each of the connectors inside the main connector here. So starting from one end, we'll touch each of the connectors. We've got no light. The middle one, we've got no light. And the one on the end, as you can see, our light is flashing. So that tells us that that is the wire that we need to connect to with our harness from the lights. So the kit provides you with these T-tap connectors. And basically what they do is they wrap around one wire and then you plug into the other side. So since we know this last wire here is the one that we're going to be using, what you would do is take your T-tap, wrap it around the wire that you want to connect it to, close it up, and then using a pair of pliers, go ahead and crimp it together until it locks into place. Now what that T-tap does is it actually pierces the insulation around the wire, and then it gives you a spot here to plug in the spade connector that's already connected to our wire. So let's go ahead and get that plugged in. Now as you can see, our wiring harness has been modified before, so we've already got T-taps installed. So all we have to do is just plug in our wire from our light box into our wire, into our T-tap. Then if we plug in our light bulb again, and you can see that we are working. Now you can do the same procedure for the other side. All right, now that we've got all of our wires hooked up, we'll go ahead and secure our wires that run across the front of the radiator. Using a few zip ties here, we'll just secure it to the bottom of the cross member for the radiator support, just to make sure that they're out of the way. Then we'll just cut off the excess. Now we'll go ahead and connect our control box to our fuse box. Now to connect our control box, what we're going to be doing is removing one of the fuses already in the fuse box, replacing it into the fuse tap here, and then placing our fuse tap where that fuse was at. So we're going to be using this fuse right here, which is your M11 fuse. If you look at your inside cover of the fuse box, you'll find out where M11 is at. So we'll go ahead and use a pair of needle nose pliers and pull that fuse out. Once it's out, we'll go ahead and plug it into our fuse tap, and then plug our fuse tap into that location. Run our wire out through the side. Now we can go ahead and hook up our ground wire. Now we can connect our ground wire, and you can connect this basically anywhere that you choose as long as it's got a good solid ground. For our purposes today, we're just going to connect it to this fender bolt here. So using our 10mm socket, we'll go ahead and loosen that up. Insert our fitting underneath the washer, and then tighten it down. Now, once you've got that done, go ahead and replace your fuse cover. And your installation is now complete. Now with our lights all connected, we go ahead and reinstall our front grille, starting with our turn signals. Just insert those, turn them clockwise to lock them in place. Lock it in, slide our grille back into place. And then we'll secure it using the original push pins. All right, now these headlights do come with a basic remote, as well as you have the option to install an app from either your Android or Apple Play stores. So what you're going to do is go to Pro RGB, if that's what you want to do as far as installing the app. Go ahead and click on Install. And then click on Open. Agree with the privacy policy. Access your device's location. I choose while using the app. And then allow Pro RGB to find, connect to, and determine the relative position of nearby devices. Click Allow. Once you do that, then the screen comes up. And if you click on the Wi-Fi button up here in the corner, so once you click on that, it'll come up with a default group name here. If you click the little arrow to advance it, you'll see that it finds our headlight control box, and it's got a check mark. If yours doesn't have a check mark, just tap on the box and it'll go ahead and connect. And it's also got a little link off to the side that tells you that you are connected. Once you do that, then you have the option, there's your power button up here. Click on that and your lights will come on. Over in the right-hand corner, you have your settings button, where you have multiple settings in there that you can change, such as setting a password. You can change the background. You can turn it on to shake their phone to turn it on. There's even a guide and the about info. And we're not going to go through any of these. You can look at those when you get it loaded. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and turn our lights on, and you can control from here at the bottom of the screen where it has the brightness button. So if you grab and drag, you can change the intensity of the lights. You also have standard buttons down here, such as blue, green, red. But you've also got a wheel up here in the upper left corner. You can drag the little red dot around the circle and change the color of your lights. Now another option that you have is the mode button down here at the bottom in the center. If you click on that, it automatically starts up your automated display. Now there is a list here as well. You can scroll this list this way, or you can just drag the dot across, and that will give you your different animations as well. Now, you can also change the brightness from this screen simply by dragging the dot down. And you can change the speed of the animation. Right now we're at about half speed, so we'll drag that up to the end, and then you get full speed. You can also drag that down to slow it down. Now you also have several options in here where you can create your own backgrounds. I'll let you figure that out by going through the program guide. And you've also got an option for music over here. If you click on music, it will ask you to access the music on this device. Click allow, and it should automatically grab some music off of your device, and the lights will start dancing to the beat of the music. So if we go back to the initial page, we'll change the brightness of the lights here again. And that's your basic control. If you hit the power button here, you can turn the lights off. And that wraps up our review and install of the 7-inch Exhibit Series RGB headlights with chasing halo with the black housing and clear lens for your 97 to 18 Wrangler TJ and JK. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.